Good morning.
Show will start in 30 seconds. Show will start in 30 seconds. Welcome everyone to Everyone Doesn't Eat Everybody's Gumbo. Today's topic, we're going to have our concurrent guest, Kim Marshall in Affordable Housing in Little Rock, Arkansas. And today's topic, we're going to talk about COVID-19, but not as extensive COVID-19, last the least. We're going to talk about financial management of any crisis, if it's viral or virus or anything else. But also, too, we're going to talk about Holy Week today. Today is the premise of the day before Good Friday. And we're talking about Holy Week and Easter traditions for all families and all cultures background. You're listening, Everyone Doesn't Eat Everybody's Gumbo. Kim, how you doing this morning?
Good morning, Dedrick, all the way from Little Rock, Arkansas, with warm temperatures and full of sunshine. How are you?
Man, doing okay, man. How you surviving out there on that planting all those mustard greens and collards and relishes, and you probably you probably grow tomatoes and all kind of other flowers and all kind of stuff. So what you growing this season?
I am working on all of those things. So nothing has produced yet, but there's some tomatoes and some lettuces out there so far. So we'll see what happens. We'll see
Oh
what
man, so
happens.
so is the soil? It's just I mean I don't know how your winter has been in Little Rock, but has it helped out the soil for this season?
And so I had a friend come till up a little section of my yard. And so
Mm-hmm.
I use this mixture that I get from the co-op and from the feed house to treat my soil. And that's what I use to plant. So what the normal soil is probably okay because we're in the South and the land is usually pretty rich here. But I
Mm-hmm.
just add all of my other additives that they give me and make it work, make it do what it do, and it usually
Oh man.
produces a pretty good crop. So yeah, I'm excited about that. Even more so excited now that we're at home and we don't want to get out, go to the grocery store, and it's something very rewarding about being able to open my back door and go out and pick my dinner for the day. It's just like really
Oh
cool.
man. So let me ask you a
Just
question. I don't
going
want to get
back
all
in
in.
time, right?
I want to get all in your business, and this may be kind of too personal for our listening audience, but
Uh
let
oh.
me ask you
Uh
this
oh.
question. No, 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 no. But no, I just
Uh
okay. So it's really it's about your body and how your body processes different foods, different from eating processed foods and mass production, based on your different backyard. So when you're eating green leafy vegetables, whatever, do you notice a difference what it does to your body when you buy it from the store and when you grow your own? Do you have a better digestion, probiotics, and does it feel better when you eat it, when you digest it? Do you notice a difference between the two from buying from the store and growing in your own backyard?
Well, because this is so normal for me, and it's been a
Oh, so
while since I've done the
yeah,
store bought stuff.
God,
But to think back, yes, there is a huge difference. And as far as your digestive system is concerned, I know people that are not as regular,
mm-hmm.
like they don't
Go.
digest and expel all of the foods that they've eaten in a run of a couple of days. And I'm thinking, who does that? That has to set up some kind of something in your system. But to feel the food and to know that it's boosting your immune system, your brain
Mm-hmm.
power, you're not sluggish, you feel better. When I go to the doctors, my numbers are all good and everything. Now, if someone were to see me, they would say, "Oh my gosh, are you serious?" Because I am not what they call the idea BMI and all of that. But when I go to the doctor and the doctor tells me that all of my numbers are good, my cholesterol, my blood pressure,
Wow.
my A1C, my all the doctor only thing the doctor tells me is like, okay, Kim, when are you gonna give me about 50 of those pounds? I'm like, you can have them. You can have them. So with this COVID-19 being stuck in the house
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
all the time, people will have the tendency to snack, which is very
Yep.
common because you're at home and
Yep.
you just go to the refrigerator and snack. I saw a really funny Facebook post. They were like, refrigerator, you stay 6 feet away from me. I need to social distance from the refrigerator. But, I don't buy all of the convenient snacks. And so they're not within reach. So if they're not there, I can't eat them. And so I
Sure.
just don't even buy them. Now, I will say that I am a single female, and so there's no children here and all that I have to tend to have those temptations. So I'm sure when someone has children and they're buying snacks for the children, then it poses a little bit of a different problem. But even to that, we should start our children young to eat healthy and they won't
Yep.
crave that sugar. Sugar is the drug out there that is not often talked about. That it is such a drug that if you stop eating sugar, you will literally find yourself going through withdrawals. It's real.
Wow.
That
It's
sugar
real.
is so real. And so I tried not to do that, but I walk every day. That's the highlight of my day since I'm working from home. I walk every day.
Mm-hmm.
I'll try to walk 2.5, 3 miles a day. Just
Oh,
walk.
that's good. That's good. That's
I'm
good.
not in
That's
no
good.
marathon. I'm not trying to beat anybody. I'm not trying to walk at anybody else's pace. I put my headphones on and I just walk and it's so refreshing. It's very refreshing, especially after being in the house all day. So that's the highlight of my day. So yes, to go back to your question, yes, I do notice a difference in my body and I notice a difference when I go to the doctor, and that's the best thing. And just to kind of segue into COVID-19, the
Mm-hmm.
numbers are saying that the African American and my Hispanic populations, the minority populations, are the hardest hit. And it's because we have these underlying medical issues already: the hypertension, the diabetes, the heart problems. We are already ladled with those things. And so it makes us more apt to acquire this virus and not be able to fight it off as well as we should. So the number one thing for me to eat fresh and healthy is to build my immune system to be able to fight these kinds of things. I'm not saying that I'm going to be immune from them, but if I get it, it's not going to be because I
It's not
didn't
going to take you
try
out
to
like it's
fight
going
it.
to like a couple of years.
And it's
And
not
that's,
that I didn't try and I didn't try to do some preventative things to fight it.
man,
So,
that
yep,
is so
that's
true.
me. What
That is
about
so
you,
true.
sir? How are
You
you
know what I
holding
mean?
up?
Man, I mean, man, I don't let stuff phase me. I try to be as normal and carry my normal day like as much as possible. Is one thing about life. I tell people, I look at life is always going to be encompassed with challenges and roadblocks and hurdles and everything else. It's how you make adjustments. A lot of times we sit as human beings and we watch football programming and basketball and sports programming. We always criticize the coach. Make that, put him out the game, put him in the game, put her out the game, put her in the game. Always coaching from the sofa. But we got to coach our lives through this. And how you coach your lives, you make adjustments. And then you do what's best for your family. But you don't live in fear. Because one thing about evil, fear trumps all if you allow it to compass in your all your daily paths and directions and decisions you make. You would never understand victory if you all you focus on fear. And that goes back to right now. I don't know if you saw the news this morning that another almost 7 million people filed for unemployment claims last week.
Hmm.
And it's constantly growing and growing and growing. And so this is now we got to start talking about having some hard conversations. And I'm glad you on this podcast this morning to talk about how you financial manage yourself throwing any type of course of a virus of like this magnitude or any companies because this virus is not going to just go away tomorrow. I mean, yes, it may go away in a couple of weeks for it's the outbreak of it, but I'm talking about the financial impact that it's going to have for mainly for the next couple of years because companies and businesses are going to have to try to rebound hard and quick to make up the end of the first quarter and a good part of the second quarter losses. And a lot of times, sometimes they might not be able to get the raw goods and materials and goods in order to sell or provide to their customers. And the bills that may pile on. And who knows if they could be able to survive. Because running a business is just like running your own personal finances. It's a budget. If you don't have a budget, and a budget sometimes could be a virtual budget, could be in your mind, or it could be on paper. Of course, Kim, I know you don't want to hear that. You prefer it on paper. you know,
Absolutely. I'm just
yes.
sitting here trying to wait
You
to
ooh,
jump
you
in.
about to
No, sir.
burn. You about to
No,
say you
sir.
gonna be
That
out your
reminds
god
me.
doggone mind.
Exactly. And that reminds me of back in the day when we had checkbook registers and
Oh my
people would not
lord.
write down their checks. It's like, what are you doing? Well, I got it calculated in my mind. No, nobody's mind is that sharp. Write that stuff down. Write it down. You need a visual.
That's why I brought that up. And so that's one of the things I want to talk about before I want to go to my favorite subject by Easter and discuss my Holy Week is talk about financial management during crisis because, Kim, we talked about this before in our previous podcast is that we both worked at Employer together, a bank and a bank in Arkansas that we worked at that they laid off a whole channel and when we mean a channel, we talking about a channel is a whole division, a whole vertical. Take one office building in Seattle, Washington that has maybe about 250 employees, relaxing for a division. Imagine that all gets shut down one day without any type of advance notice and stage a performance by doing it. And guess what makes the matters even unique? The week before Christmas. Okay? And called a mandatory meeting for everybody to attend and grandstand. This is why you have to, again, be proactive and by taking control of your life. Do not let an employer dictate your life. Don't let your job dictate your life. You dictate your employer. You dictate your job based on you being controlled. And this is why viruses like this and events like this that come in our lives make me start back and think. I run a small corporation. I mean, I don't quit to just hire people just because it's cute and sexy and it's for my ego. You hire based on if you can better sustain it when times get rough. Because the worst thing that I ever participated is to let someone go. And knock on wood, I never laid off anybody when I was working. I never signed off on any layoffs. I've been laid off, but I never signed off on that because I know what it does to families. Because everybody's not disciplined enough, Kim, in our listening audience to be able to financially plan when true adversity comes. Because that's the true test of perseverance. Can you persevere through these times?
And I'm not sure if everyone is not disciplined enough or
Hmm.
if there's lack of knowledge or lack of information.
That's
It's
important. You
often
just say that
said,
one more time again. Say that again.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So, it's often said that, financial or economics or that's not taught in schools. And so if the parents don't really know, they didn't get the information and they weren't privileged to understand how all of this works, then how can they pass it on to their children? And so lack of knowledge is a big issue. And that's part of what we do as housing counselors is try to just teach basic financial literacy. It's not difficult. It's basic addition and subtraction. But more importantly, it is discipline. You have to abide by your budget. And I think the biggest misconception of a budget is that I'm poor if I have a budget. That's false. It's not about being rich or poor or anything. It's about being smart. It's about being informed. It's about directing your money in the direction it should go and not allowing your money to fuel you. I had relatives back in the day, and I probably still do, that literally would get paid and cash their paychecks at the local store, whether that was a package store, if you will, if it was the
It's called
grocery
liquor
store or
store.
the
That's called
neighborhood
liquor.
store.
That's called the liquor store.
Wine and spirits, pack.
So let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question about the liquor store. I call it liquor store. Most Americans call it wine and spirits or the happy house. My question to you: how that liquor store had all that cash?
How did they
They can
get
cash
all
all
that
those checks.
cash?
Yes, they cash all those checks.
Well, so working at the bank, there was a package store, liquor store around the corner, and they knew the days that people would get paid. And they would literally come into the bank and they would get the cash to sustain those paychecks. The paychecks were usually $300 or $400, and they would come in and get several $1,000s to actually be able to cash those paychecks. But there was a fee to cash those paychecks, and they knew if you came in there to
You're gonna
cash your
buy some
check,
liquor.
they were going to charge you $10, $15 off the top. You don't miss that because you figure, I got $300 or $400. It's not a big deal. Then you're going to purchase something while you're there.
Oh
They even
yes.
got creative enough where they started keeping more things than just the liquor of your choice. They would carry household things, some house. So you just go in there and kind of browse around and shop because they knew the things that you wanted. They knew that you wanted some skins to drink your beer with.
Yes,
They
so
knew
true.
that you wanted some sliced luncheon meat that they could slice and so you can make a sandwich. You needed bread for that sandwich. And who was winning? It's almost
Hmm.
like one of the major corporations today that's headquartered here in Arkansas that I think has a huge impact on why Arkansas has not implemented amid COVID-19 the stay at home mandate because everyone goes to this store and they buy everything. So when they get that $1,200, they know that at least $800 is going back to them. And so because of that, the stores have not we have not been issued a stay at home order. We are one of 7 states that has not issued a stay at home order. I just
Oh,
thought
so
I would throw that in.
wow.
That's a
So
little bit of
so
a pet
so
peeve for
so
me.
so let me so you telling me that I can drive into El Dorado right now at a Cracker Barrel and or Texarkana, I could eat a Cracker Barrel inside with my biscuits and my jam and my honey right now with no problems.
No, you cannot. But what I am saying is that the headquarters of a major corporation is in the state of Arkansas.
Of course, the
And
biggest
because
retailer in the
that
world.
head exactly. And because of that headquarters is here, our governor has not issued a stay at home order. I believe that that is a political good old boy issue.
Hmm.
I'm not going to issue a stay at home order because then the people can't come to my store. There's nothing else for them to do. So they just come in there and walk around and buy stuff and just whatever. They feel like they need all of this stuff and they really don't, but they're
Don't
buying
need
it
it.
and it's feeding my bottom line. And when I looked at the stocks this morning, their stock is one of the few stocks that's soaring amid
Always.
COVID
Oh, yes.
19.
Yes.
It's like,
Because
oh,
that's
okay.
in yeah, anything that's essential is kicking butt right now. Left and
Exactly.
right. Anything that's
Exactly.
not important is not kicking butt.
And those are the people that are going to prosper amid COVID-19. They're going to see profit from COVID-19, no doubt. Where everyone
Yeah.
else may suffer a financial loss, they're going to have huge financial gains. And it's going to come down from that $2.2 trillion dollars that the government is divvying out to folks, the little kibbles and bits that they're giving to people to say, okay, hey, we're going to give you this. So it's a really interesting time, really interesting
Yeah.
time. And I think I just kind of varied off of the subject, but
No, no,
just
no, no. Again,
hang
this
with
is
me, people. Hang with me.
oh no, man. This is Kim Marshall of InAffordable Housing in Little Rock, Arkansas. She's a certified HUD counselor, and her services is to provide all individuals, regardless of income levels, regardless of who you are and where you come from, the opportunity to get into a home. This is the right way. Not going to a your realtor who would turn you over to some dude or that fix your credit and then like that. Nah, that fixing your credit doesn't change behaviors. What changes behavior is when you go do counseling and it help you, and not just to get into the home, but it help you to maintain it. I always say this rule: anybody can buy a house, but it takes a lot to maintain a home. And I say that clear. And that's a song. Luke, though, you remember that song? You remember,
A house is not
sitting
a
on the
home.
couch, house not a home. That bring back some memories back to you, my friend. Huh?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Way too
Yes.
many memories. Whoa, they just
Oh
flooded
my
my
yeah.
mind.
Oh my Lord, I hope there's not no PTSD moment, but like I said
No,
again,
no, 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 no.
okay, just making sure. But and that's the thing about again going through this crisis we're right now. It just again pay you, and I'm just gonna give some tidbits, and is that number one, if you lost your job and you're in the field, you lost your job and you're running out of savings. Number one, I will encourage you go ahead and keep cash is key. Okay. Reach out if you have a mortgage, reach out to your servicer, start talking some arrangements. Do not commit and sign off on any documents whatsoever until you talk to a certified HUD counseling agency. They working, they're home. Reach out to them and making sure the fact that that agreement is put on the back end of the loan, not at 3 to 4 months from now. Okay, read the paperwork. Just because they tell you, that's one thing. It was in black and white. It's everything. That's the first thing. If you're gainfully employed and there's never been a reduction of hours of income, man, you maintain your life as business as usual. Just do some stuff around your house. Paint some stuff, move some furniture around, re-decor your house, make your home beautiful, clean the nits and gritties and the baseboards in your house. Spend some time to redevelop your house. But also, too, this is a time to start looking at your finances on how you're going to streamline your budget and put some money away. Build up your portfolio, you know. And let's go back to the first one example. If you lost your job, okay, car notes, credit cards. Call all your creditors. Let them know what's going on. See what type of range you made. And these are the tiers. I've always say pay all your bills on time. But when crises get tough, your first priority is a roof over your head. Your mortgage and your rent is the first thing you need to take care of. Before you take care of anybody else, take care where you lay your head at. The second thing, your transportation, your auto loan. Make sure that you have means of transportation. Pay for that. That's your 1B. Okay? Everything else, credit cards and anything else, because guess what? A car and a home that can be taken from you. Those are secure opportunities. That can be taken from you at any given time. But credit cards and those items, that could be a case by case situation. If you got to make the minimum payment plus $20, do so. You know what I'm saying? At least try to protect yourself because again, this situation is temporary. It's going to go away eventually in a matter of a couple of days, weeks from now. It's going to go away. You don't want to become an everlasting impact, and don't go where people tell you, "Oh, girl, if you put that on your credit report, they're not gonna care." Shit, excuse my language. Okay, we care. So
And
don't let
so
that fool
let
you.
me in. You're right, and let me interject there.
Hmm.
You're saying to call your folks, and that may work. I'm
It
going
to
to
answer the
highly
phone.
encourage you. Exactly. I'm going to highly encourage you to go online. Most folks, I have gone to several sites, to different financial institutions. They have a COVID-19 response page, and everything
Hmm.
that you need to know about that, you could go in and complete it online. I would highly encourage you to do that. I would also encourage you to do a screenshot of your completed form, whatever they ask you to do, so you will have your documentation. Because let's be fair here, they are inundated with calls and emails and website hits. I mean, it's just ridiculous, I'm sure, as to the volume that they are trying to take care of. So be a little patient, I would say that, because everyone is trying to get into their lenders and talk about it. So go to their website, see what they have out there, and complete it online. That's the first thing. Second thing, if you've lost your job, please, please, please apply for unemployment. That's what
Hmm.
it's there for. The benefit is there for you if you lost your job. The government has been, I will say, a little generous with unemployment benefits, which I think is a plus, is that they're adding an additional amount on top of what your regular pay is. So take advantage of that. If you
Yes.
don't need it, if you don't need it, start a savings with that. Start putting some money
Yes.
away, as Dedrick just said. Start putting some away just because you're getting it. And let's talk about that $1,200 stimulus money. If you get
Hmm.
that $1,200
Don't
stimulus money and you
save
don't
it.
really need it, that's a
Save
start
it.
for savings.
Save
That's a
it.
start for savings. Do not feel like, yeah, it's spring and Dedrick is going to talk about Easter and he's going to get Peter Cottontail and he's going to get his whole Easter flock, and he
Oh my
probably has a
Lord, Peter
he probably has
Cottontail.
a lime
Wow.
green linen
Wow.
suit that he's going to wear with a pink
Wow.
and lime green and yellow bow
Wow.
tie with his straw Kango hat. I can already see it. His Easter
I'm a, I'm a,
outfit.
I'm
But
gonna go
we
better. I'm gonna go better. What I got for Easter, I'm gonna bring my old Kappa outfit. I got a red jacket, red candy cane jacket with my red plaid Tommy Hilfiger pants. You know what I'm saying? My
okay.
nice crisp white starch shirt, dress shirt with some candy cane cufflinks. You know what I'm saying? And and my nice, you're saying bow tie. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
There
Now
we
that's
go.
real. See, that's real. That's real. And or I'll break out the pink or the yellow sports jacket. Oh yeah, there's many ways to that Easter gift, and like you said, I mean, it made loud and clear is that you know you get $1,200 if you're considering in buying a home, you're considering making major purchases. Man, put that $1,200 into an high interest bearing account. and let it ride, and put it where it's that you have no access to it unless you got to go through some hoops. Put it away, because guess what, guys? You never know what can happen. You never know, regardless if it's virus or if it's economically, because again, impacts. It took 2 years for us to feel the impact of the financial crisis. This took 2 weeks, and then we go
Mm-hmm.
into election year, and we do have now a we now yesterday afternoon started the beginning of the general election. And if Joe Biden wins the presidency, we're going back to Obama policies. That's a given. And it's almost like 2008 all over again. It's going to be some stimulus. It's going to be some other opportunities, but we now have to focus on industries that's vibrant. But we have a lot of folks that's in the workforce. One of the people in the workforce that haven't got out is the baby boomers. A lot of baby boomers still working. They haven't left. And then you got Generation X and no, Generation Z, excuse me, Generation Z.
Z. Mm-hmm.
That's our kids' generation. And then you have the millennials that are in the market. And with all these layoffs going to happen right now, I'm just hate to warn everybody. I'm going to be honest, I've seen these trends happen. Everybody's on the chopping block. And wages are going to go down. Wages were picking up big time, Kim. The wages about to go down hard because employers going to feel like, hey, you're going to be thankful you got a job. So when I get Bernie
Exactly.
Sanders yesterday, talking about, hey, I want to make sure that everybody get $15 an hour. Yeah, I would love to see everybody get $15 an hour
You
as
are
the
not
basic
mocking
minimum
him,
wage.
are you?
Yes, I am. I'm like, dude, we talking about a virus, and this dude talking about pay raises, and
Right.
and people losing their damn job, and he talking about pay raises. It's just like we talking about
Hence the
playoffs.
reason why he's bowed out of the
Yes,
race.
we talking about playoffs, and we can't win regular games. We talking about practice and
Mm-hmm.
practice. Why are we talking about practice? We need to talk about games. Same thing is like, man, you got to be in touch. It's about job creation. Now, wages are going to come if these companies do well. And let me give you a little tidbit. If you never took a business class in high school and college, salaries and compensation takes a third. That's always the budget. 33 and 34% goes into wages. So if a company make $100,000 in gross sales, $33,000 need to go into wages. That's it. So when you work for that business and you ever ask them, man, how much did y'all gross last year? And they say, man, we gross $1 million. So $330,000 should have been appropriated into wages. That's the standard. And so always realize that the people who run the business, most of the time they don't get a check. They don't get a check every 2 weeks. They have to make sure payroll is done. Make sure everybody's fed before they get any money. So running a business is a hard job. It's hard. It's hard work. It don't stop. So thank the people who hired you. Thank the people who give you an opportunity. Thank the people who give you a paycheck. Yes, I know politicians out there tell you a lot of things just for sound bites and just to score political points. But the reality is that, hey, you know, understand these people are struggling just as much as you. So keep that in mind. So let's go back to this Easter thing you're talking about. So I'm assuming you the lady that wear a hat, huh? You wear a big hat?
Absolutely not.
Oh my Lord, you
Absolutely
just
not.
went,
I have
oh
never been a
geez.
hat person. My
Oh
mom
my
never made
Lord.
us wear those little bonnets or anything. No, no, I'm not a hat
No
person.
hats, huh?
Not a hat person. But, interestingly enough, for about the last 10 years, I have not been going to church on Easter Sunday. So in Arkansas, we
Oh,
have
because it's a
the
ruckus over there.
river.
Everybody, yeah.
Well, no, we have the river and we have sunrise service, a community sunrise service on the river. It is the coolest thing ever. So we have
Wow.
an interfaith. sunrise service, and it usually
Hmm.
draws about, you know, up to five, six, 8,000 people. And we're in
Wow.
the park. The backdrop is the river. The sun is rising, and we have these choirs. We have wonderful gospel choirs. We have Christian choirs. We have folks from every denomination, and it lasts about an hour and a half or so. It is the best thing ever. And for about the last 10 years, that's what I've done. So I'm going to miss that this year. You take your lawn chair, you dress casually because you're in a park, and you just really enjoy the worship service. And you feel it's something about that connection with nature, and to see that sunrise and the music and the speakers, and we're all talking about the resurrection. It is just a very, very good way to bring in Easter for me. So that's what I've
That is
done for the
nice.
last 10 years. So I don't have to have my Easter flock. So I haven't bought an Easter dress and all of that good stuff in over a decade, which works well for me. Works well for me. So I'll leave that up to you to have on all of your you say
Oh,
red.
see,
I
come
don't
on,
believe it's good.
come on.
I don't believe you're gonna wear your cap of red. I think you're gonna wear some lime green.
Man, I ain't wearing
Lime
nothing, man.
green linen. That
Man,
sounds about right.
man,
Lime green, a
man,
leisure suit at that.
man. Folks gonna get, man. These churches gonna get their feelings hurt this Easter, man. It's like it's gonna be online. I don't know how they gonna collect tithes and offerings. That's what I've been more worried about these churches. They got this one church not too far where I grew up in Baton Rouge. I mean, he cutting up and making people go to his church, and I feel sorry for our non-denominational churches because it's like, when you're a part of a denomination, if you're Baptist, Methodist, Presbyterian, full gospel, Catholic, you have to comply with orders. Pastors got bosses, okay, and then they don't comply right, they get kicked out, and they go start their own church at a shopping center and retail shop and roll from there. But those guys comply, and they have different contingency plans. But these non-denominational churches, man, it's rough. The struggle is real. That's a business for them. So I'd like to know, man, how they surviving? You and the friends who run these non-denominational churches, how they survive in this environment?
You, most of the folks that I know, they are not talking about their survival. Most of them, which I can truly appreciate, they're just trying to instill some hope and let folks know that,
Yeah.
hey, this is not the end of the world. This too shall pass. So we haven't gotten into the financial part of it, but I'm sure there's some financial concerns because most folks will not, they're not going to give their tithes and offering if they're not literally there. So yeah, I'm sure the financial concerns are there. I'm sure they're there.
Yeah.
But I'm thankful that folks are not putting as much emphasis on that, and they really are trying to instill hope in folks. Back in the day, the church was always the pillar of the community, and
I
everything
know.
surrounded the church,
The
and
church.
everything
That's
surrounded the
so
church,
true.
and that was the go-to. But that's not so true today. The church is not the pillar of the community for many, 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 many reasons, which I won't go down that rabbit trail. But yeah, so no, I haven't heard that. So I'm very thankful to see that folks are really trying to implement some hope and make folks lean on their faith during this time. I will say that there were several churches here, and I'm sure that it has happened across the country, that they literally had disposable communion cups and the bread and the wine and all of that. They had the little disposable communion packet that they were literally taking to folks' houses and leaving them on their doorstep so they could all have a communion in unison on last Sunday, Palm Sunday, via Zoom. So I thought that was pretty cool. That was like, okay, I can get down with that. That was pretty cool.
So I got a quick question for you. What are you cooking for Easter?
Well, again, I am in a totally different position than a lot of people. So I'm here floating, doing my thing all by myself. So I don't have to prepare anything for Easter. So it'll be whatever I decide. And I haven't even decided what I may do. I may go get some fresh salmon from the
Whole
seafood
Foods.
store
uh,
and and probably throw it on the grill maybe. And other than that, that's kind of where my mind is leaning towards. What I will have with that, I'm not real sure. I love fresh grilled salmon with creamed spinach. And so it may be that, or I may make a broccoli salad. I really like broccoli salads. I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. What are you preparing, sir?
Man, I'm gonna tell you. Listen, honest. If you contact me at 281-636-3638, I'm balling 2 sacks of crawfish on tomorrow. Okay, and so if you want some crawfish, you can fly to Houston. I give you my phone number, and you come as no contact. I'm a fixture. I'm gonna give you 2 pounds of crawfish, corn, potatoes, some sausage in a bag, and you take it and you find you a park somewhere. I would not recommend this eating in the car. I would recommend because it's going your car will smell like crawfish. I would tell you to go to a park or get your hoodie or vehicle to get out and start eating it. Trust me, while it's still hot. That's what I'm doing for Good Friday. Use a tradition. I've always barbecued. On Good Friday, on Saturday after Good Friday, and then Sunday usually is the leftovers from the barbecue. So this year I don't think I'm doing too much anything. I make barbecue. I just have to be in the mood for it. But other than that, man, just really just resting and just enjoying this just time and relaxation and and just reflection. And and that concludes why I love Easter because Easter is the end of course the end of winter, and it's the I love the spring, and it gives a time of reflection and spending time with family, understand with family, and and one of the things about that what people don't understand that you have a lot of people who are not mentally stable right now in these times. This is when you need to get connected to God. You need to connect to the family. You need to connect to some type of higher dimension in your life and realize that He is always is in control. But it's based on what you feel that what is the most in control. Control is based on love of family, love of people. And like I said earlier in the broadcast, don't allow fear overtake you. We will overcome this. You know what I'm saying? But realize that life is all about your journey and your destination and making it with a purpose. And this is what the reflection of why the man that how Easter celebrated is celebrated because of the resurrection of Christ. He laid on 2 pieces of wood over 2,000 years ago on Calvary, on Calvary. And when he got laid on 2 pieces of wood, he died for all of our sins. He forgave us because he could have allowed God to put this earth on fire and it would have been totally destroyed. But his love manifested. So if you're questioning God right now, you question all these things right now, don't question it. Sometimes things happen for a reason because it allowed people to come back as family. It brought people back to the home. Your family is not the bar down the street. Your family is not the people you hang out right around the corner. Your family is the people in your own house. Blood is thicker than water. So I just hope that this events that's happening right now teaches us that love, family is everything. Kim, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I do want to say that depression and mental illness is real. And if you feel like you are on the verge of breaking, please seek attention. Please seek help. You can do it online. They have Zoom services online that you can certainly utilize if you feel like you're at that breaking point. So, yes, please get help. Happy Easter. Lime green suit and all. Enjoy.
No, no, you need to wear that
We'll
big hat. I need you to wear that big hat. I need you to wear that big hat. Well, let me ask you this. Are y'all having, are they, did they cancel that the Easter event on the river this year? Or they are still having?
Absolutely, absolutely, they did. Absolutely.
They did. So,
Yes, they
I mean, I'm
did.
assuming you gonna have your own Easter version on your backyard with some water crackers and some
Absolutely.
grape juice
With the rabbits and the deer. Yes.
with the rabbits and the deers. Okay, all right. Well,
Yep,
hey
that's gonna be
Kim,
my. That's
as
those are gonna be my fellow congregants that day.
get about the blood of the body. Oh boy, that's what I'm talking about, man. Everyone, I wish everyone
Absolutely.
a wonderful Easter. Kim, as always, thank you for here. Again, continue to follow us. We're on Spotify and as well as iTunes. Thank you for making this podcast as possible. We're here to provide the knowledge, support, but most importantly, we do this by having fun at the same time. Kim, much love to you. Love you so much. Everyone, have a great Easter. Stay blessed. Again, we shall overcome. Take care and have a great day.
Be safe.